People do want to put you in a box. They want to know, well, does this mean you're now bisexual, or how did you change to be heterosexual? I mean, it's just people ask you the most ridiculous questions.
Right.
Those who dare.
So the personal is political.
Yes, the personal is political, absolutely.
This is Diana Tourget. I'm outside of Gracie Mansion to speak with the First Lady of New York City, Chirlane McCray, for Broadly Meets.
I, Bill de Blasio,
do solemnly swear.
The next mayor of New York City.
As First Lady of New York City, Chirlane McCray has proven to be one of the most visible and outspoken political spouses in the United States. McCray traded an early career in publishing for one in politics, working as a speechwriter and public affairs specialist. She and de Blasio, in fact, met on the job as aides in City Hall for then-Mayor David Dinkins. But throughout her professional life, she has been a poet and feminist activist. A Black woman now married to a white man, in the 1970s, McCray wrote of her experience loving women in an essay entitled I Am a Lesbian for Essence magazine, and established her political roots at Wellesley with the Combahee River Collective, a Black feminist organization that believed in an intersectional approach to political issues for women and people of color. We sat down with the First Lady in Gracie Mansion to find out what it's like to have radical roots in one of the nation's oldest houses of political power. All of our identities shift. Mine certainly has. Mm-hmm. And you've come a long way from your 1979 essay, I Am a Lesbian for Essence. That shift itself is profound. Could you tell me about that time in your life?
You know, I'm the same person, first of all. Yeah. I really am the same person. I've grown, I've evolved, but I am the same person. And I'm happy that I got a chance during those days to meet all of those women. And this was, you know, the collective was women who identified as feminists, women who identified as lesbians. These are the women I came up with. I believe there is a fluidity that we are only just now growing to be more accepting of and aware of, because people do like to put people in boxes still.
Yeah, discomfort with that in-between or a gray sort of space.
Huge discomfort. I'm just living my life.
Because of her past activism and her openness about her own sexuality, McCray and de Blasio's marriage has become a hot-button issue in the media, often putting the couple under enormous scrutiny for their private lives. So you're subject to critique and scrutiny. I mean, I've noticed that publications like the New York Post have seemed to take like a committed angle against de Blasio and sometimes yourself. Could you just speak about what that's like?
You know, I don't pay a lot of attention to it because we know what to expect. What can I say about the print media? It's not what it used to be, for the most part. And I think it's a good thing we have more avenues of expression now with the blogs and with all the digital media, because we need more voices without the words being twisted and turned to give out a story that's not true. Like I'm sitting here now. It's just, I think it's very good, so you can see who I really am as opposed to the caricature.
Chirlane McCray is one of the most public-facing First Ladies in New York City history. Active on social media, she posts baby pictures to Instagram, poems to Tumblr, and is taking on an increasingly prominent policy role in her husband's administration. On the heels of her daughter's public battle with addiction and depression, McCray unveiled a comprehensive roadmap for mental health care in New York called Thrive NYC. The initiative focuses on public awareness and early treatment of mental illness, highlighting the disproportionate impact these issues have on marginalized populations. So what does it mean to you to be the First Lady of New York City? How have you approached the role?
I've really tried to see how I could have the most impact on people of the city, especially women and children and communities of color, but everyone. And that's why I chose mental health.
You've sort of made your initiative as the First Lady of New York City. Why?
I had to do it. I just felt that it was a subject that no one wanted to talk about, but affected everything. Well, one of the things that I learned by working on Thrive, going all around the city and talking to experts, is that the signs and symptoms of mental illness really begin by or before 14, and 75% by or before age 24. And that had special resonance for me because when I look back at my daughter, she did actually manifest some of the signs and symptoms at a young age. We didn't recognize them because she was so accomplished. I mean, she had so much going for her. It was very easy to play down those things that were just, it's all about being a teenager, right? But no, in her case, I think it really was the beginnings of a struggle that was going on inside her. And with Thrive, we teach parents and teachers to recognize the signs and symptoms, be able to identify what's going on. We want to do everything that we can with Thrive to make sure that people get the treatment they need. We have so many tools, and we have so many treatments, and most people are just not aware of them.
The Clintons and de Blasios are longtime friends and allies. The current mayor was the campaign manager on Hillary Clinton's first Senate run, and the two women have discussed how to approach the role of First Lady. McCray has also recently worked with Secretary Clinton around issues of early childhood education here in New York. Despite reports late last year of de Blasio's perceived reluctance to back Clinton's run for presidency and rumors that their children are feeling the burn, McCray and de Blasio are now ardent supporters of Clinton's campaign. Can you tell me about your support of Hillary Clinton?
I'm a big advocate for Hillary, and having followed her through all these years and knowing what a catalyst she's been for change, with the health care and her real commitment to public service throughout the years when she could have gone and been a corporate lawyer and done, any number of things. She had real commitment to public service, and she is a progressive. And I'm going to do everything I can to help her be president.
What is the significance of having a woman in a role like President of the United States?
Oh, it's huge because, I've said before, I think that's about someone who's been a daughter, a sister, a wife, a mother, a grandmother in that role with so much power. To have that perspective in the White House, it'll change everything. It will change everything. I know, she won't be able to do everything, but I think that it will definitely bring a new twist to the way we're governed and to what we invest in. Now, I believe that people are the biggest resource of any nation, any city. And it's very important for us to invest in people and making sure that our people are strong and healthy and have the right support growing up, because then, you prevent so many other kinds of problems. Later on down the line, it's easier to grow a healthy child than it is to mend a broken adult and all the problems that come with our broken adults. So I think she gets that.
Politics in general and political figures often seem to be so polarized, and their constituents are really polarized. Very recently, the national sort of war against transgender rights and in restrooms and public accommodations that's been going on in states like North Carolina. And in March, what did de Blasio do but introduce an ordinance that would allow any resident of New York to use whatever restroom that they feel represents their gender identity or corresponds to it. So can you speak to that?
Perhaps, I'm a glass half full kind of person. I see a lot of this as a generational change. I mean, when I was growing up, I would, I'm a little bit older than you are, I would not have dreamed that we would even be having this discussion right now. Would not think it possible in my lifetime. And yet here we are, which shows that there's a lot of change. A lot of change has happened in the course of my life. Which I'm not that old, but it's not that long ago when. I just want to say, I was in high school. Girls couldn't wear pants. I mean, things that we talk about today. They're just unthinkable. The fact that we have gay marriage, unthinkable. Really, I mean, and the women on the Supreme Court and that we're talking about transgender issues. This is not even something that I even dreamed we could get to in my lifetime. So is there change? Yes. And is this next generation coming up? I take great heart when I talk to my kids and who are 18 to 21.
The now generation.
The now generation. Guess what? by the time they're my age, we're going to see
Who knows where we'll be.
Exactly. Who knows where we'll be, because they were brought up with all of this, and this is their reference point. You know, all the pushback you see now, you know, it's like really, again, generational, and there are a lot of people who are uncomfortable with it, but it's not going to stay the same. Things never do. Right.